Welcome to the Books Bible Study. We are continuing in the book of Exodus, chapter 38, verse 1 reads, He made the altar a burnt offering of acacia wood. 5 cubits was its length, and 5 cubits its width. It was square, and its height was 3 cubits. Detailed instructions on the altar's design and the measurements, you can find them in Exodus chapter 27. We go in detail about that. Verse 2 says, He made its horns on its 4 corners. The horns were of one piece with it, and he overlaid it with bronze. Verse 3. He made all the utensils for the altar, the pans, the shovels, the basins, the forks, and the fire pans. All its utensils he made of bronze. Again, that can be found Exodus 27, verse 3. Verse 4 of Exodus 38. And he made a grate of bronze network for the altar under its rim, midway from the bottom. Verse 5. He cast 4 rings for the 4 corners of the bronze grating as holders for the poles. Verse 6. And he made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. Verse 7. Then he put the poles into the rings on the sides of the altar with which to bear it. He made the altar hollow with boards. Verse 8. He made the laver of bronze and its base of bronze from the bronze mirrors of the serving women who assembled at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Verse 9. Then he made the court on the south side. The hangings of the court were of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long. Verse 10. There were 20 pillars for them with 20 bronze sockets. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. Verse 11. On the north side, the hangings were 100 cubits long, with 20 pillars and their 20 bronze sockets. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. Verse 12. And on the west side, there were hangings of 50 cubits, with 10 pillars and their 10 sockets. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. Verse 13. For the east side, the hangings were 50 cubits. Verse 14. The hangings of one side of the gate were 15 cubits long, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. Verse 15. And the same for the other side of the court gate. On this side and that were hangings of 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. Verse 16. All the hangings of the court all around were of fine woven linen. Verse 17. The sockets for the pillars were bronze. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver, and the overlay of their capitals was silver, and all the pillars of the court had bands of silver. So notice the hardware for the materials that were inside the tabernacle. Everything was gold, right? All of the sockets, all of the bands, all of that was gold, but the hardware for the materials in the court, those are only bronze and silver. Verse 18. The screen for the gate of the court was woven of blue, purple, and scarlet thread and of fine woven linen. The length was 20 cubits, which is 30 feet, and the height along its width was 5 cubits, which is 7.5 feet. So corresponding to the hangings of the court. So this screen separated the sacred court from the outside world. And it was just a curtain. Verse 19. And there were 4 pillars with their 4 sockets of bronze. Their hooks were silver, and the overlay of their capitals and their bands were silver. Verse 20. All the pegs of the tabernacle and of the court all around were bronze. Verse 21. This is the inventory of the tabernacle of the testimony, which was counted according to the commandment of Moses, for the service of the Levites by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. So the Levites were in charge of keeping up with the count, or weighing the gold, the silver, and the bronze, right? And it was under the direction of Aaron's son, Ithamar. Verse 22. Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 23. And with him was Oholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and designer, a weaver of blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and of fine linen. Verse 24. All the gold that was used in all the work of the holy place, that is, the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. So a talent of gold weighs about 75 pounds. 29 talents of gold would be about 2,175 pounds, or almost a ton of gold, right? 730 shekels are about 18.3 pounds, which gives us a total of 2,193 pounds altogether. Now, if you want to discuss the value in dollar amounts in our time, with today's gold prices, that's about $165 million worth of gold. Okay, so whenever we see a talent of gold being used as money in the Bible, just think of its value as about 5.6 million. That's just for one talent. But they had 29 talents of gold plus the 730 shekels of gold as well. Okay, so we're at $165 million worth of gold. And remember, the gold was all the free will offerings. That was the offering they just brought, right? Verse 25 says, "And the silver from those who were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary." So 100 talents and 1,775 shekels is about 7,544 pounds, which is about $3 million worth of silver. So gold in that time is 80 times more valuable than silver. That's why you see a big difference. So 7,544 pounds of silver, it was what was collected. That's about $3 million, right? Verse 26 says, "A bekah for each man, that is half a shekel." So a bekah is half a shekel. According to the shekel of the sanctuary, a bekah is about $5, okay? "For everyone included in the numbering from 20 years old and above, for 603,550 men." So that amount of men each gave $5, right, in silver. So if you multiply 603,550 men times $5 for each man, that's where you get the 3 million from. Okay. Verse 27 says, "And from the 100 talents is 7,500 pounds of silver, were cast the sockets of the sanctuary and the bases of the veil, 100 sockets from the 100 talents, 1 talent for each socket." That's about 2.6, right? 2.65 million. And then verse 28 says, "Then from the 1,775 shekels, which is 44.4 pounds, he made the hooks for the pillars, overlaid their capitals, and made bands for them." And that set the pillars, the hooks for the pillars, the capital overlay, and the bands were worth about 54,000. Okay. Now we're to the bronze, verse 29. "The offering of bronze was 70 talents, which is about 5,250 pounds of bronze, right? And 2,400 shekels, which is 60 pounds. So that totals about 30,000 worth of bronze, right? Verse 30 says, "And with it he made the sockets for the door of the tabernacle of meeting, the bronze altar, the bronze grating for it, and all the utensils for the altar." Verse 31, "The sockets for the court all around, the bases for the court gate, all the pegs for the tabernacle, and all the pegs for the court all around." So remember, the gold and the bronze was given voluntarily. The silver was given through tribute. If you remember in Exodus chapter 30, the silver was required by each man as a symbolic atonement for their soul. It was a ransom for their soul, right? So in total, the dollar amount equals to $168,030,000 for a tabernacle that was the size of a small house, like 675 square feet. And then the courtyard is about a quarter of an acre, right? But it was $168 million that went into the construction of this. So even though they were in the wilderness and they were leaving out of bondage, they were not poor. Okay, the Egyptians gave them things when they left, right? And then you remember they defeated the Amalekites as well. And normally, when whoever won gets to take whatever treasure that is on them, right? So they probably took their spoils from them as well. And they also could have bought and traded with people along the way as they went on their journey. But however they acquired all of this silver, all of this gold and bronze, it just goes to show you that God will ensure that his vision is provided for. Right? So when we think about the children of Israel wandering in the wilderness, they're not broke. They might still be in bondage in their mind, but they are wealthy people, right? And so that concludes Exodus chapter 38. We will be in Leviticus pretty soon. We only have 2 more chapters. So stay tuned. God bless.